So I think I'm losing my spark and turning wrenches on trucks.
Well, bro, I hate to hear that, but now here's the real truth of it all. Everybody gets burnt out. I get burnt out all the time. But now, whether or not you want to continue to do it, that's on you. You're a young man. You can pretty much do anything you want to do. But you got to ask yourself, what do you see yourself do? What do you want to continue to do? If I could go back to my really early years, I may not be here, but there's a good chance I might be right here again. But, you just got to ask yourself, what do you see yourself doing? I talked here a while back, things that makes me happy with doing what I do and makes me, enjoy it, a feeling of completion and just, whatever. But anyway, is when, I have a truck backed in or put in with a wrecker and it leaves on its own power. I enjoy that feeling it gives. I do enjoy fixing things. I really enjoy fixing things and making things. I'm in a process of making my camper a home. Out of that enclosed trailer, I enjoy all that stuff. A lot of my abilities kind of work hand in hand. I like being able to do everything. As far as I'm concerned, there is nothing that I can't do. Yeah, I'm tooting my own horn. But, ask yourself that. Where are you going to be? What skills will you have? What skills do you hope to have later on? Is it just you're worried about making money or what is it? Because the thing is, no matter what you do in the blue-collar world, you're only going to be able to make so much money. The people that make big money, and here is how it is, are in sales. When you can make quick sales and with little effort or little less time involved is how you make more money. Anytime you repair something, yes, you'll make good money and you can make really good money, but you'll never make sales type money. Everything has its drawbacks, everything. Nothing is going to be perfect or exactly how you want it. There's always going to be a dick working with you, more than likely, or something. There's always going to be a good side and a downside of it. I mean, just like this morning, I got in to wash my hair, and I hadn't noticed it last night. But when I washed my hair last night, I always wet my hair every morning so I can comb before I come to work. Yeah. But last night when I washed my hair, I must have had grease in my hair, it's like little bitty pebbles of grease. I've done it many times, but you'll get it in your hair and you wash it and they'll fall in the floor of the shower and you stand on it and they smear. I mean, it's just a little bitty speck of something, but it's actually grease. And when you step on it, it smears. Little bitty smear marks in the bottom of your shower. So I got to go clean that up. I didn't even notice it last night because I was in a rush, I guess. But yes, things suck. Everything has its little drawbacks. It has its big drawbacks. It has its benefits, big and small. Just ask yourself, where do you see yourself later? Me and my son, I've always carried on with him and we've always had a good relationship. But, we used to carry on and give scenarios and ask questions, what if this happened? What if that happened? And we always used to like to insinuate, what if apocalypse happened or something like that. And the way the country's going, who knows? We may get to figure these things out. But if you are in the blue-collar field, all of us in the blue-collar field, no matter where you're at, whether you're a mechanic or a carpenter or whatever you are, when you work with your hands, we are going to be the ones that continue to strive. Those salespeople, they won't have nothing. Just gift of mouth. They won't be able to do and make things and have things. They'll just be able to run their mouth. But the blue collar people are the ones that's going to Go forward. We're the ones that's going to survive. We are the survivors. Keep that in mind. You know, another thing I was thinking about the other day, you know, a guy asked me, I told him I had to go mow my grass. And he asked me, how come you mow your grass? I said, because I can, and I don't mind doing it. He said, well, don't you make more money working on trucks than what you pay to mow? I said, well, actually, yeah, I do. He said, well, ain't it more financially sound to just pay it done and stay here and work? No. I get a different peace of mind of going home and doing that. It's different work. It breaks me from doing this. And I can't stand paying somebody to do something that I can do. It's just me. I can't stand to do it. You know, like I said, these people that can't do nothing, that won't survive, you know, they're the ones that has to pay for everything done on their vehicles and everything else. I have never paid a dime to have anything done to my vehicles. Maybe exhaust work or something like that because I didn't have the tools. But anything and everything else I have always done to my vehicles. You know, no, I don't work on small automobiles and stuff, but I can fix my own. I fix my families. You know, I fix people close to me, but I don't like to do it for a living. This is what I like to do for a living, or prefer to do for a living. But anyway, talking about that grass, here's the thing about that. And this is the thing I don't like about it. You know, this world is going down the toilet. But now think about it. If I paid to have my grass done all the time, and I had a young'un as small as like 10 years old or something, all he ever done was seen somebody come and mow. It wasn't ever me. He never seen me mow. The kid would never have a clue of how to even mow. He wouldn't have a clue of how to, you know, just do things with his hands. You know, he wouldn't know how to weed eat. I mean, it's just a long list. If you hire everything done and don't try to do something yourself, you're never going to teach nothing. The things taught with your hands are the most important. Ain't a doubt in my mind. So keep that in your mind. I mean, now think about this kid later on. He ain't going to know how to do nothing. And think about later on when he's an adult and all the kids his age are in that state. What kind of world is this going to be? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Can't even mow the grass. I'm telling you, when my son could barely hold a weed eater, I had him out there cutting weeds and mowing. I got a neighbor. It's so funny. I got a neighbor that I know he don't have a clue of how to mow the grass. And it's already starting. What I just said is actually already starting. This guy don't have a clue of how to mow the grass. Now, there's several different ways you can mow the grass. But it's a lot dependent on what kind of equipment you have. But this guy mows in patches with a push mower. And he has a mulching mower. He lets it get way too high. And he can't even mow with this mower because it clogs up. And he'll do like patches. He'll do a corner. He don't go around the edges and then work his way in like he should with the push mower. You know, it's just so funny. There's something so simple people don't know how to do. You know, there's a lot of videos here on TikTok, and I see some on Facebook that actually teach stupidity. It teaches people to make and do things that absolutely is absolutely no purpose. As the old Billy Madison movie, I am now dumber for have listened or watched it. It's the honest truth. So remember, people that work with their hands, we are the survivors. We are and will be the ones that are sought after. So never forget that. But we all have our ups and downs. I have them all the time.